The 35 miracles of Jesus Christ. These are a list of the miracles of Jesus Christ as revealed in the Gospels. May Jesus Christ bring a miracle to your life today in the name of Jesus. 1. The second net of fishes. John chapter 21 from verse 1 to 12. 2. Calming a storm. Mark chapter 4 verse 35 to 41. Matthew chapter 8 verse 18 to 27. Luke chapter 8 verse 22 to 25. 3. Casting demons out of a lunatic boy. Mark chapter 9 verse 14 to 29. Matthew chapter 17 verse 14 to 21. And Luke chapter 9 verse 37 to 42. 4. Casting out a dumb and blind spirit. Luke chapter 11 from verse 14 to 26. Matthew chapter 12 verse 22 to 32. And Mark chapter 3 verse 22 to 30. 5. Casting out a spirit. Matthew chapter 9 verse 32 to 34. 6. Cleansing a leper. Mark chapter 1 verse 40 to 45. Matthew chapter 8 verses 1 to 4. 7. Cleansing of 10 lepers. Luke chapter 17 verse 11 to 19. 8. Cursing the fig tree. Mark chapter 11 verse 12 to 26. 9. Delivering a man in the synagogue from demonic spirits. Mark chapter 1 verse 21 to 28. Luke chapter 4 verse 31 to 37. 10. Delivering the Syrophoenician's daughter. Matthew chapter 15 verse 21 to 28. 11. Feeding 5,000 with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. John chapter 6 from verse 1 to 14. Matthew chapter 14 verse 13 to 21. Mark 6 chapter 32 to 44. And Luke chapter 9 verse 10 to 17. 12. Feeding another 4,000 plus. Mark chapter 8 from verse 1 to 10. Matthew chapter 15 verse 32. 13. Healing a deaf and dumb man. Mark chapter 7 verse 31 to 37. 14. Healing a man born blind. John chapter 9 from verse 1 to 41. 15. Healing a man possessed by demons at Gadara. Mark chapter 5 from verse 1 to 20. Matthew chapter 8 verse 28. And Luke chapter 8 verse 26. 16. Healing a man with a withered hand. Luke chapter 6 from verse 6 to 11. Matthew chapter 12 from verse 9 to 13. And Mark chapter 3 verse 1 to 5. 17. Healing a man with dropsy or edema. Luke chapter 14 verse 1 to 6. 18. Healing a paralytic. Mark chapter 2 from verse 1 to 12. Matthew chapter 9 from verse 2 to 8. Luke chapter 5 from verse 17 to 26. 19. Healing a woman with an 18-year infirmity. Luke chapter 13 from verse 10 to 17. 20. Healing a woman with an issue of blood. Mark chapter 5 from verse 25 to 34. Matthew chapter 9 from verse 18 to 26. And Luke chapter 8 from verse 40 to 56. 21. Healing blind Bartimaeus. Mark chapter 10 from verse 46 to 52. 22. Healing of a nobleman's son. John chapter 4 from verse 46 to 54. 23. Healing of Malchus' ear. Luke chapter 22 from verse 49 to 51. 24. Healing of the man at Bethsaida. John chapter 5 from verse 1 to 15. 25. Healing of 2 blind men. Matthew chapter 9 from verse 27 to 31. 26. Healing Peter's mother-in-law. Mark chapter 1 verse 29 to 31. Luke chapter 4 verse 38 to 39. Matthew chapter 8 verse 14 to 15. 27. Healing the blind man of Bethsaida. Mark chapter 8 verse 22 to 26. 28. Healing the centurion's servant. Luke chapter 7 from verse 1 to 10. Matthew chapter 8 from verse 5 to 13. 29. Pulling a coin from the mouth of a fish. Matthew chapter 17 verse 24 to 27. 30. Raising Jairus' daughter. Mark chapter 5 from verse 21 to 43. 31. Raising Lazarus. John chapter 11 from verse 1 to 46. 32. Raising the widow's son. Luke chapter 7 from verse 11 to 16. 33. The first of 2 nets of fish and the calling of his first disciples. Luke chapter 5 from verse 1 to 11. 34. Turning water into wine. John chapter 2 from verse 1 to 11. 35. Walking on water. Matthew chapter 14 from verse 22 to 33. John chapter 6 from verse 15 to 21. And Mark chapter 6 from verse 45 to 52.